And welcome back to MoFutbol, where we spotlight the next generations of ballers from grassroots to the pros. And today's guest is midfielder Tinashe Simbo, a young player from Harare, Zimbabwe, and
Yes.
NCAA All American, who's known to make the big jump from NCAA First Division to Fairlight Dickinson University. And
Yes,
here
Fairleigh
we're just
Dickinson. Yeah.
talking about street soccer. So I know you're just fresh off of NCAA tournament. So
Okay.
for those people that don't know who Tinashe is, give us a run back from Zimbabwe all the way to where leading you to the US.
Hey man, thanks for having me on the show. And I'm really glad to, finally get to talk to you after a long time of texting.
There was.
Um, yeah, man. So for me, my journey started in Harare, Zimbabwe, in Chikurubi.
Oh,
That's where I was born. My parents, both were police officers, so I was more in that police, military kind of area. Um, my dad was actually a professional soccer player as well.
nice.
So probably I think he's the reason why I, decided to try to play the game, because where I come from, it's more, street soccer. It's more soccer is like a religion over there. It's
Yeah.
like, every kid wants to play, and so I was just like, you know what, I'll try, play soccer and see if I'm gonna be good or not. So my dad kind of helped me, and yeah, so I have a small family actually. I was raised by a single mom. My dad passed when I was 14, so yeah, I was raised with a single mom, and I was just playing academy. I played for it's called Support Unit Academy. I played there. I started when I was, I think, 8 years old, playing for the academy, and then till I think when I was 15. So went to high school. Got a lot of scholarships. Was playing for some of the good high schools. I played for Churchill High School, which is one of the top high schools there, and I played for Hebron High School, which was one of the upcoming. It was more like an academy kind of school where we played pretty much all year. There was no like, um, oh hey, we only played this semester. We played pretty much the whole year. So yeah, so
Perfect.
I've been around, football for a pretty long time.
Nice, nice, nice. And just to bring it all the way back, you mentioned how you started with soccer slash football. A
Yes.
lot of us have had our different path to where soccer led us to. So, if
Yeah.
you, to your best, do you remember how was that process like? Was it, did you just join in, or was it trial? And how was that? You know, what leads you to playing high school soccer? We'll say.
What led me to play high school? So I always had a dream, that I wanted to play for Churchill High School, Churchill High School in Zimbabwe, it's a big school, like I said, produced so many top players, So I was just in that kind of mindset that, hey, I want to make it to this school, but I didn't know if I was good enough to play for the school since it was really a top school. So I was scouted pretty much when I was in seventh grade. Some of the coaches there from Churchill, they watched me play. And then, all I remember was, them knocking on the door and saying, hey, we want to bring you here. We want you to play for us. And that was a dream come true. So, but it wasn't easy, I went through, it was like, I can't say a trial, but it's like you train with other guys who they're looking at,
Right.
even though they already know they're gonna have you, but it's like you have to kind of show up and you train with other kids, and then they'll, so that was kind of the process um, from there. And I didn't really do like a trial. They just, got me. And yeah,
Yeah, so it sounds like that you knew where you wanted to go, so you just pretty much put the work in. And
yeah.
for the trial, we'll say they. It sounds like they already knew the baller that you were, but they were maybe testing character and see that even though you had the invitation on hand, if you were just going to still show them what you can. So it looks like they were testing maybe your anything outside of
Mentality,
playing
yes.
soccer.
Hmm. Hmm.
Absolutely. So definitely like that part. So it sounds like that school definitely know that they're not just going for soccer players; they're also going for level-headed individuals.
Yes,
Excellent.
yes, I agree with you.
So you mentioned you playing soccer. So how would
Mhm.
you describe to someone your style of play, and maybe if there's one player or players that you mirror yourself? What?
Mirror myself. That's a good question. So, I'm very composed, and I think I have pretty good vision, which is why I played more of an attacking midfielder as an attacking midfielder. And I've always been a fan of Luka Modric, and I've
Okay.
always been a fan. And some people growing up, people would call me Ozil because I'm left-footed and I played in calm. I would slow things down. I have a high IQ for the game. So some people call me Ozil, some people say Luka Modric. But now that I've played college and I've matured a little bit more in the game, I like Luka Modric because how he controls the tempo. And for me, I have good passing range. I can play short pass, I can play long ball, I can play outside the foot, all those kind of passes. So I would say my vision, is one of my biggest strengths because there's the pictures that I see when I'm on the ball. Sometimes I make it pass and I don't even believe it. I'm like, whoa, how did I do this? So that kind of vision, of knowing what to do before you even get the ball. So for me, yeah, it's just I like play tiki taka, combination play. So all around, I'm just a player that just loves, you know, connecting with others. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much how I would describe myself as a player, like, vision, technique, I can slow the game down, yeah, something like that.
I like that. So Prima Ozil
Yeah.
is one that probably does not get much recognition on his style of play, and pretty much serve
Yes.
Germany a World Cup. And Modric is just,
Hmm.
I guess, everlasting. He's still doing it. He's still doing it in Italy,
Yeah.
so it shows
Legendary,
that.
legendary that one. Yeah.
It, so would you say if it was one trait that you could take from him and that kind of put it in your play now, what would it be?
From Modric
Yes,
or
for Matrix. Like, it was it one skill that she said, this is what.
I'll take from him. From him, I'll take the mindset,
Okay.
the mindset part of it because he can run all day. He can control the game. He can do anything on the defense from the offense. In the middle. He just has that leadership mindset that he tells the team when things are not going well. He tells everyone, "Hey, let's calm down. Let's keep playing our game." That kind of mindset, that's one thing I would really want to have and take. I'm not saying I don't have it, but it's something that I would steal from him because passing, technically, I can do some of the stuff, like some of the
Yeah,
passes and yeah.
and we can say right that he does things that are simple, but also there's things that only him can do. That's why
Only
he's.
him can do.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
absolutely. And so are you, so would you say you're a Real Madrid fan, or you're just a Madrid fan because of that?
I'm a Real Madrid fan.
Okay.
United fan as well.
I apologize
Yeah,
then, I guess, if on that part, but
yeah. But Modric, I didn't really. So I watched Madrid, right? But I
okay.
was more. back in the days, I was more of an Ozil fan, so I was watching Ozil pretty much, because Modric, when he first got there, they didn't really play him as much, and so I was watching a bit more Ozil's. But when Modric came in, I really liked how he played. I like especially the outside of the foot. Most kids. So for me, growing up, my coaches used to be mad at me because I used the outside of my foot for almost every pass.
Hey, why not?
So it was because of him.
And it clearly it worked for you afterward.
It did actually. Now I can use it anytime, and it works.
Yes, absolutely. So another part is the preparation of games. So we
Yeah.
all know as athletes and players, we probably have crazy rituals that we follow. So for you to have yourself tune in into a game, what is your
Uh-huh.
typical, not to
Right,
share all of
routine.
your secrets, but one that someone knows, Tinashe
Yeah.
is when he's locked in, he's locked in. What is one of those
Yeah.
things that you always do?
Before a game, day before a game, or
It's up to you. You can tell us.
um,
Just don't tell all your secrets.
yeah. The biggest thing is nutrition. That's one of the biggest thing. Day before a game, I like to eat a certain way. More fruit, more juice, water, because I believe that a diet sometimes it plays a big part in how you prepare yourself. So sleep, I like to take naps. I love to take naps. Even when I don't have practice during the day, I try to find time for at least a nap. And I would say meditation, to be honest. Usually nights before games, I kind of struggle to sleep because I'm a person that when I have a game, I'm thinking about it. What am I gonna do? Who am I playing tomorrow? So I'm seeing these pictures in my head. So it's kind of takes me a bit longer to actually fall asleep, you know, and pray, man, pray. I'm very religious, and I believe that praying, is what got me here. Um, I've had, man, a lot of incidents, that I'm going to talk about later, but when it comes to game and soccer, I always pray before a game, like, hey, God, I just want to be, calm because I have that, like that nervousness before every game. I'm
You
not. I'm
you
gonna
have
be honest with you.
yeah.
Some people say, oh, like why do you play good in certain games? I'm scared. I'm nervous before that game, and
Oh,
so that's why I use like meditation and music. Music is a big part of it. I listen
abs-
to rap music, chilled music before a game. And the day of the game, usually I clean my boots. I don't know, it's just like I find it more like a therapy for me. Just clean my boots before, make sure they're clean enough. It's part of my routine. And, so stretch early morning. I stretch early morning about 10, 15 minutes before I go to the locker room, and yeah, music all the way, listen to music. I have my headphones on, even when the guys are playing music on the speaker. I have my certain type of music that I listen to. So I'll be having my headphones on pretty much every time. So yeah.
all right, so we will have to bring this music part because that definitely plays a big
Yeah.
part on a lot of people. But I'm gonna tell you,
Mhm.
anyone that say they're not nervous before a game or a presentation or nothing, they're lying.
They're
Eh,
live. That's true.
Everybody's nervous about something, and if they
Yeah.
aren't, that means their confidence is way too high, and most likely it's not
Way
gonna
too
work.
high.
Yes, I've been
Yeah.
around enough to know that I don't fall for the I'm not nervous because
You
everybody.
have to. You have to. You have to. When the ref is about to blow that whistle and you just like, oof, yeah, I feel my stomach like something is going on.
Yep, absolutely. Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's why I say you have to, and that feeling pretty much goes all throughout work, family life, and everything. You have to be a little
Yeah,
bit of nervousness on that. So you
that's true.
mentioned music. I'm big on music as
Yes.
well. I mean, I saw a
Yeah.
few of your posts, and I asked you if you spoke French or anything. So, what
Yeah.
is kind of music that you listen, or does that depend on the occasion as well, or it's you have your playlist?
Yeah, it depends on the mood. But for me, I'm that kind of person that anything that sounds good, I'll listen to it. If
Right.
it's from Nigeria, if it's from Senegal, if it's from Egypt, I don't care. Like, anything that sounds good, that has a rhythm, a vibe. I'm more into. I would say I'm more into reggae,
Okay.
dancehall, Jamaican, dancehall reggae. I listen to obviously Zimbabwean dancehall.
Right.
I listen to rap music. One of my favorite artists, I would say J. Cole. I
Okay.
listen to a
Nice.
lot of J. Cole. I listen to Nipsey. I listen to a little bit of Tupac. When I want to hype myself up, I listen to more like trap, like
Makes
the
sense.
Mick Mills, the Lil Baby, just Ghana. Right now, I listen to Ghana. Ghana is right now is like number one on my list. So yeah, I listen to anything that sounds good, chill vibe. When I'm chilling with some people, I like to listen to more Burna Boy, more the chill vibe. Yeah,
All right, so you don't discriminate, which is good.
I know. I listen
Yes.
anything that sounds good. Yeah, I can listen to it.
Nice, nice, nice. So for
Yeah,
during your high school days,
yeah.
and I talk to a lot of kids, especially that wants to reach the level that you've reached, and
Mhm.
so high school there's a lot of those sacrifices that you guys have to put in because you want to be to that next level. So
Yeah.
how was like your experience knowing that you had a target to play college soccer? So how was your high school experience when it comes to soccer?
My high school experience was a tough one. If I'm being honest with you, I was always away from my family because I was in boarding school. So, you go home maybe once or two times a year,
Right.
and you're out there with other kids, even though it was fun, but the idea of like, hey, I miss my family, it was really hard because there's some times when maybe you get an injury or you're not playing good enough, or the coach is telling you, hey, you need to be better, and you have no that kind of like family, that
Right.
emotional support. So it was pretty tough because when I was at church, it was easier because I started more as a day scholar. In a
Okay.
day scholar, you go home after the day, you go home, classes, you practice after, and you go home. And then I transferred to, it's called Hebron High School.
Okay.
So Hebron High School, it was like in the mountains somewhere far. Like it was like, I think it was like 10 hours, yeah, about 12 hours away from the city Harare, which is where I'm from. And I'm a city kid, and
Yeah.
then I go there. It was more like a, what do they call these, mission school, which is more in the rural, like village area. And for you to adapt to the city lifestyle, to the
Almost
the
middle of
that
nowhere, like you would say.
almost in the middle of nowhere. It's tough, man. It was really tough. You go there, no cell phone, nothing. Just you locking in, man. Just school, study every time. It was really big. They were really big on, hey, if you we don't care if you're good player. We don't want you to just be a good player. We want you to
Yeah.
be a good student. So academically, man, you wake up 4 a.m. You have to go study, and then after study you go to church.
Yeah.
After church you go to class. After class you go to practice. So it was like a cycle. It was really hard, physically, because sometimes you feel like, man, I am so tired. I need to rest. But it really prepared me because that mindset of, hey, I can be in an area where I'm new and I'm alone, and I can still do good things. It really helped me, have that kind of survival, mindset, saying, "Hey, I can survive. I can do this." So yeah, it was really tough. And to be honest with you, I didn't really think of going to college. Going to college wasn't really like my my plan A, if I'm to say it. So the plan was that I wanted to go to the UK, to try play pro, because my dad was, at that time, he was doing physiotherapy stuff, and So he had a plan that if we move to the UK, then we can I can try out for some academies there. But life goes on, and he ended up passing away at 14, when I was 14. That was 2014, and yeah, man, it's unfortunate, but that changed the plan because now I'm playing in high school, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do after. I want to play pro after. That's my main goal, but I don't really know where I'm gonna be. And then in my last tournament of high school, I didn't know there were people watching me. And in Africa
Yep.
we don't really have games recorded. We don't really have stuff. So I played this tournament at Churchill, and it was I was midfielder of the tournament. So it was a provincial. So here it was a provincial tournament where let's say one state, here we call them states, right? So let's
Right.
say the whole of St. Louis, the big top high schools that are playing really good, they play in a tournament there, and then the winner goes to the national level.
Yep.
So I played there, and I was midfielder of the tournament, and then Monday I get a text from someone I didn't even know. His name is Philip Demeta. I got to know him, and he's like, "Hey, I watched you play, and I really liked you. Somebody told me to come watch you play, and I really like you. So here's what I do. I help kids go to the U.S. For school. So we're gonna also organize a game for you that you can play against a quality team, professional teams in Zimbabwe, and then you can go to the US. So at first I didn't believe him.
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
You have.
we always think we're being scammed. I
Oh
thought I
yes.
was being scammed. I thought I was being scammed, and my mom was like, "Nah, don't listen to him." And yeah, and at that time I was playing out. So 2018, man, that's a long story, but I'll
It's a
keep it
minute.
short.
Hey.
2018, I left Hebron High School, the boarding school that I told you I was playing, because I got a call from my coach. His name was Lloyd, Coach Lloyd. He was at Dynamos. I don't know if you've heard. So Dynamos is the biggest club in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
So
I
coach,
haven't.
so
So
yeah,
we'll have to
so
put people on game then on that.
yes, so Coach Lloyd Chigoe was my. So while I was in boarding school, during holidays I would go play for Dynamos FC, like the academy
Right.
team. So I was more just like a holiday kind of player. The coach would say, "Hey, come." We had our coach, Norman Togara. So Norman Togara was my coach at Hebron High School. He's a
Okay.
legend. He played for the national team. He played for Dynamos. He's one of the Dynamos legends. So he
Uh,
referred me to go to Dynamos and train there during the holidays. So I would go there during the holidays, play with other kids, and then after I go back to school. So that coach he called me and he was like, "Hey, I'm getting a job as a head coach for the first team, and I want you. You're one of my first signings."
Hey.
And that was crazy. He was like, "Hey, this is you're gonna be one of my first signings," and I was like, "Man, I can't wait." It was it's just like a plan. It felt like we had planned it, but we didn't. It just happened at the right time. And he told me, "Hey, come for preseason, and we'll see how you do, and then we can assign you." So I went for preseason at Dynamos, played really good during preseason, and then I got a contract, man. And so they told me, "Hey, we want you to finish your high school, so we're not gonna give you any pressure. You're gonna have to go to school
Right.
and focus on school. So we're gonna let you play at school, but then once you're done with school, we want you back to the first team so you can play for us." So I was very fortunate that Dynamos let me try and finish my high school advanced level at. So they put me at Churchill. They gave me a scholarship there at Churchill. They were paying for everything,
Hey.
by school, uniform, everything. Life was pretty good. And then the coach, when the opportunity came, I'm grateful for that because when the opportunity came, the school opportunity, they said, "Hey, this is a big opportunity. It's going to help you in the long run. So you have to take this opportunity." So I ended up taking the opportunity to come to college.
Nice, nice. And
And
I
here
think
I
you
am.
you,
Yeah.
you kind of put a lot of the big pieces that we keep telling younger kids that are inspiring to be pros and others where
Yes.
pretty much from your story, from what I'm gathered, is you know play hard when no one is watching, like no one is watching, because you thought
When no
no
one
one
is
was
watching.
watching,
Yes.
and that you
Yes.
kind of build relationship as well with your skillfulness and
Hmm.
level-headed individual. Because as
Yeah.
you know, you can be the best player in the world, but if you have bad attitude or bad way of thinking, it,
Uh-huh.
you won't go too far.
You
And it
won't go
looks
too
like
far.
as well,
Yes. Yes.
you listen to your mom too, because right, always putting that, make sure that you trust but verify when somebody comes to you,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we hear a lot of awful stories, right, from African players
Hmm.
thinking they're going somewhere and then things end them sideways. So it looks like,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you had the African experience, which is school education first. Soccer is just
Education
a game.
first. It's soccer.
Education,
Soccer is a
yes,
education first because these African parents in the neighborhood that I grew up with, it was more of just school, school, school. And fortunately, my dad wanted me to focus more on both
right.
because he knew I was good at both, but he wanted me to. He would always remind me like, hey, always stick to school and soccer. When I would fail, I remember I would fail. I'll be struggling a little bit in school. He would he would give me punishment. Say, I'm gonna put your soccer boots in my bedroom. I'm locking them in, and you're not gonna get them. So no soccer for a month.
That sounds way
And
too familiar.
as a kid, you want to play soccer, so I
Yeah.
had to do good in school for me to be able to go and play. So that's how my parents were basically.
Oh, trust me, for us older folks, pretty much we've all been there. We all
Yeah.
had school first. Soccer
School
is just
first,
a
yes.
game. It if it
Yes.
works, it works. So I definitely
If it works,
appreciate.
yeah.
So yeah, so it definitely show that you've had your foundation was help you to where you are now, and also you going
Yes.
to boarding school and others kind of help you lead you to the next step for you, which
Yes.
was then to play college soccer. So
College soccer.
so I think the first time is when you were playing Midwest America, Nazareth. And then you
Mhm.
became all American and all that. So could you tell us a little bit of your first school with high school experience, and how did that lead you to
To
FDU?
FDU. So I've been around the place in college
Your
soccer.
brother, you're not the only one. Trust me.
Yeah.
You gotta
So
go where you gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah, so I was recruited by Matt Gal.
Okay.
He was a coach at Ottawa University in Arizona. That was
Okay.
my first school. Um, so there was this just connection that I had with him before he I committed to Ottawa University. I was talking to a lot of schools. I had about 10, 11 schools that I was talking to because Philip Demera, the guy I told you, he has an agency, World Athletes Recruits, and so he was the one that would kind of speak with the coaches on behalf of the players. So they bring me to Arizona. Man, my first time in Arizona, it was really hot. I was like, what am I doing here?
And
I
after
remember my
thinking it
first,
was too hot.
yeah, and I remember my first practice. My first practice, I almost passed out, man, because the temperature and it's too physical. I mean, in Africa, in Zimbabwe, we're more. It's more coaches teach you more the technical side,
Okay.
if you get what I'm saying. You have
Yeah.
to know how to control the ball. You have to know you have to have a good pass,
Mhm.
long ball, short pass. You need to have that side of the game. So physically, they say it comes with the hard work that you put on the field. Yeah. Well, I wasn't really familiar with going to the gym.
Okay.
Um, so my coach would do. I remember Norman Togara. He would have us run, like do fitness. Sometimes, he would go where we were in a mountainous area, so we would go on the mountain and do sprints up and down and stuff like that, which really helped me. So when I got here, it was a little different. I'm like, hey, we go to the gym 4 days a week, and I'm like, man, like what is this? So I was a little skinnier by the first time I got to Ottawa, and so first game, I was playing really good, but I wouldn't last for that long. I would run, but it was I don't know if you it was not fitness, but it was just the weather that I wouldn't really. It was hot, so I wasn't used to it.
Yeah, your
But
lungs were
I was
not
playing,
ready for it.
yeah. So I was playing really good. I was just coming in. They put me as a winger in the beginning, and then they didn't know I was a 10. They put me as a winger. But still, I was when you're a good player, you can play in a certain position and people may think that's your position,
Right.
you know. So I was playing right wing, played coming in as a sub because they were seniors and I was a little freshman. And then after 5 games, coach was like, "Oh, let's do an experiment. Let's give you a first start as a we're playing a 4-2-4, which is kind of crazy because I never played that formation before.
Yeah,
So
it's not too
yeah,
common.
yeah. So we play 4-2-4, and coach is like, "Hey, I want you to be one of the two strikers." So I play one of the two strikers. I had that mentality as a 10 that I know I don't want to stay up high. I want to drop
Right.
and get the ball, link up. So I played like that game, and I had my first start. I had a goal and an assist, and since then the coach started playing me as a 10, and man, I had good assists, a lot of goals. I was a freshman of the year in the
Yeah.
conference, GSAC conference. I was all conference. I was all American. I was in the all American team, and then so I played two seasons at Ottawa University because I always wanted to go higher level. That was always my ambition. So speak with the coaches, and I wanted to go D1. So a couple schools, I spoke with a couple schools, and then UTRGV. I went to UTRGV in Texas,
Nice.
and yeah, and I went there, and then I got injured. Man, it's part of the game. I went there and I got injured, so I missed half of the season. The temperature, the environment, I just wasn't really like a fan of it, and it's part of the game.
Yes.
So Coach Matt Gow, he was born in Kansas. He's from Kansas City, and we're Mid America. He went to Mid America.
Okay.
So Mid America had just won the Nationals the year before. So I was like, what? Let me go there. You never know, what can happen. So I go to Mid America, and then yeah, I balled out, everything good, and then D1 school started, watching me, and I didn't know I was gonna get a fifth year because the COVID thing.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, they gave me a COVID year, so I spoke with a lot of schools, and then yeah, man, I ended up at FDU basically.
Nice, nice. So yes, and like you mentioned, you've been around, but trust me, you're not the first one or the last one. So you whereas you see fit. So yes.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I've been around.
you mentioned
Mhm.
that that injury. So how did you, first that injury, how did you perseverance to come back and to still being able to play at the level that you've known of, which led you to D1. So how was that experience and injured
Yeah,
and how
yeah.
you came back up?
Man, first of all, I'll say injuries, they're very unfortunate. Growing up, I didn't really have a lot of injuries, so I didn't really know what a serious injury really is. And so I was playing, I think I was playing against Seattle. I was playing against Xavier, and then so I jump, try to hit the ball, and then my other teammate he jumped higher than me because I didn't hear him like calling for the ball. So he jumped high, and then he had the ball, and then so I fell first, and then he fell on my ankle.
Okay. Yep.
So man, my ankle, I tried to get up, and my ankles, start get like swollen, and I couldn't really run. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't walk. So now this was really hard for me because you're in a new school, you're in a new environment, and then you get injured as well.
Yep.
And there's for me, soccer is pretty much my life. And it's I wouldn't imagine myself doing anything else other than being on the field and play. Just getting the touch. Kick the ball. It's just for me, it's the world. It means the world to me. So at that time, I couldn't do none of that. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even wear my shoes. My ankle was so swollen. But with the emotional support that I've had with the people around me that were was in Arizona, my friends in Arizona, and then I had a family in California, the Macias family. They really stepped in and they really helped me. They would call me every time, "Hey, Tinashe, how are you feeling?" And just checking on me. They gave it's at that point, to be honest with you, I almost that mindset of like, I think this is it. I had those thoughts, of like, I think with this injury, I don't think I'm gonna play anymore, because I didn't know how long it was gonna take for me to be out.
Right.
And yeah, through the emotional support is very important, man. Like in sports, anything in life, you need those people that can be help you through those hard times. And my mom, she would call me every single day to check if I'm good. She
Right.
would tell me, "Hey, I want to see you try to walk." I'll put my phone somewhere. And I was
Right.
kind of, it really helped me a lot. And um, so I get in the portal, but for some reason I couldn't go to another D1 school. I don't know what they did with the rules or whatever. There were a lot of D1. I had 11 schools that wanted me in that time in the portal.
Right.
Some top schools. But then I was like, you know what? I don't want a red shirt. I don't want to wait for a year for me to come to play D1. So I went to Mid America in Kansas City, through Matt Gal. And when I got there, I was still a little injured as well because I went there in the spring, so I was still recovering from that injury I had in the fall. But they really treated me. They treated me really well, and I found a home in Kansas City. And I was able to slowly get back and start playing. And once I started playing, it felt like I wasn't injured. People are asking me, "Were you injured that long?" It doesn't look like it.
So it
But
looks like
it
you were
took.
blessed on that part.
I was blessed, and yeah, and people were like, we can't tell the difference. We can't tell if you were hurt. It doesn't look like it." And I was like, I was out for a very long time. So mentally, it's uh, it's something. Injuries. There's some things that can really lower your confidence,
Right.
as a player. And I've seen a lot of guys come back from serious injuries, and they were never the same.
Correct.
And they didn't get better, and that nervousness when they get the ball, they think something's bad might happen to them. You know how it is in the game. And so for me, I was very fortunate that I had a different mindset to it. I've been trained, I've been in situations like I told you, the boarding schools, the being away from home. So I was a bit resilient, and I was able to fight that feeling of, oh, maybe that's it. So it was tough, but I was able to get back up, and I really played really well for Mid America. Unfortunately, we couldn't win a lot of things that we wanted to, but we went to the nationals, and we played really well. We lost on penalties, which is unfortunate, but yeah, man, I finally won something at FDU my last year, two trophies, so I can't complain.
It's all part of your path of
Yeah,
soccer.
yeah,
So since you've experienced kind of the NAIA and all the way to D1 school, um,
yes.
could you tell the younger kids what is that experience, or if there's even a difference between those two levels?
So in my opinion, the biggest difference between the NAI and NCAA is the mindset,
Okay.
professionalism. It's almost like in Division 1, everyone wants to make it.
Mhm.
So there's that competitiveness in each and every team. Whereas in NAIA is more of it was more of like the survival of the fittest.
Okay.
If you know where you want to go, then you work towards your goals, and you might be one of the few people that are going to get out of there. That kind of. But the technical ability and stuff, it wasn't. It's not. There's not really like a big difference. Um, the difference, like I said, mindset and the fitness level. Yeah, man. And D1, they don't play fit. You have to be fit because it's every team you play, the intensity is it's crazy. I'm not saying NAI is easy, but there's a big difference between the levels, NAI and but NAI is more of a stepping stone.
Yeah.
If you know get what I'm saying, it's somewhere where you really work towards your goal. And fortunately, I had very good coaches that I expressed myself to, and they knew where I wanted to go. So even my first year in NAI, I already told them, hey, one day I want to play D1. So they knew what my mindset is going to be, and they knew what channels I have to be in for me to for me to be able to make that happen. And um, discipline is key.
Okay.
Discipline is key, especially to the young kids. For me, I've a lot of people that from my neighborhood and people that because I come from a place where limited opportunities and it's hard for you to make it out there. And I'm one of the few people that made it out of there. And so now every kid, because when I talk to my mom, she's like, "Hey, I wish you knew the level, like the impact you have on these kids, because now every kid wants to go to school
Nice.
because they see me in school, and every kid in my neighborhood in support unit, they want me to go. They want to go to school now, which back in the days it was just either school or you won't just do, or maybe either school alone or maybe you just play soccer alone.
Right.
But I was able to manage the two things. So back to what I was saying, discipline um, is key. For me, I'm not a person that's out there. I think being an introvert kind of helps me lock in because I'm not really out there as much. I go out, I have friends, yeah, that we go out and stuff, but I had that kind of mindset of, hey, stick to myself and work on my goals. And that's what pretty much made me successful in what I wanted. And I always compete with myself.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'll tell the little kids, like, don't compete with anyone. Always compete with yourself. The version you were to yesterday against the version you are today. Look at yourself. Okay, if you had a bad practice, you come there the next morning. I want to be better than the guy I was yesterday. It's that kind of mindset of, because if you start competing with other people, I want to compete with this guy, you're going to lose something about yourself. And, you have to be yourself, have fun, enjoy the game, and don't always expect that things may not go the way you want them to go. I learned that the hard way because I was more of like a perfectionist. I was a person that I would always want things to go specifically how I want them to go.
Right.
And like I told you, at some point I had an injury while I was playing really good, and it kind of messed me up mentally. But then I came back, and started playing good again. You might go to a team and maybe the coach doesn't like your style of play. It can happen, you know. So you just have to be resilient and learn from others too, like people that have been in your shoes. I have a
Right.
lot of people that in my neighborhood that I learned from. Some of them made it in life, some of them didn't. But you can always take something from someone. It's not that you can always learn from a successful person, even a person that that's not successful. You can take one or two good things because they always have one or two good things with them. So I was a kid that I was always um, an observer.
Yeah.
I didn't do a lot of talking. I paid more attention, listened to people that gave me advice because I was fortunate that people cared enough for me because they could see my potential and they would advise me. Even people that I didn't know in from the neighborhood, they'll tell me, "Hey, young man, come here." And I will speak to people. They'll tell me, "Hey, we love how you carry yourself. You're not in, we don't hear your name when bad things happen. You always focus, you stay, you're respectful." And to be honest, respecting your parents because they're the ones that make it happen for the most part because they build a foundation. And if you don't listen to them and I'm very superstitious. I believe it can give you a little bit of bad luck. you know,
Oh, yes.
so for me, I was able to take every little thing from people and then put it in one basket, and that's what pretty much made me the person I am today because I love learning, and I keep learning till this day. I learn from coaches, I learn from my teammates. Just I love to just keep getting better, and that's the kind of mindset that I've had of, hey, this is what I want, and I'm only focusing on that. Just you can be boring. You may live a boring life where you don't go out partying and stuff. But trust me, the in the long term, it's gonna pay up because for me, it really paid out. Like the sacrifice I put of not trying to chase too much fun and me just locking in and having to play football every time, go to the gym when I don't want to because I'll be honest with you, man. It's a discipline. It comes with doing things that you don't want to do, and I have a lot of things that I didn't want to do. I wasn't, I didn't want to wake up and run. I didn't want to
Yep.
do fitness, in which most players we hate fitness. Yeah, that's fitness. But I was very disciplined and prayer, like I said.
Yeah.
So I come from a church. It's called ZCC,
Okay.
Zion Christian Church in Zimbabwe. Man, like they really helped me in praying for myself and praying for whatever I wanted. Because in an African mindset, I always believe that prayer can take you far in life, and I was always locked in on, hey, I cannot, even if I don't just pray for myself, I can pray for other people, and I just wanna, have that courage because not everyone has the courage to go through obstacles in life and overcome them. And for me, it came from a religious background, to be honest with you. So even if I lose a game, I'll still go and pray. Thank God that I was able to be on the field because not everyone gets the chance to be on that field. So that commitment, and it's that's the reason why I'm where I'm at, and I have a lot of kids that are looking up to me, and I can't at this point I can't fail. I can't do bad stuff because if I do bad stuff, who are they gonna learn from? So I've always carried that responsibility from a very young age, and man, now I keep going. But yeah, that's
Absolutely. And I think you kind of put it all together, right? So when it comes to
yeah,
the person that we see today, is always
yeah,
a snippet of all of the experience that you've had. And
yeah.
that you mentioned, the community, the people that you've kept around you. That's a
Hmm.
real testament of the person that you are, because people
Yeah.
do come and go. But those
People
that
come and
stay
go.
around
Yeah,
are
yeah,
truly the people that you look up to. Um,
yeah,
and you mentioned, right, the people back in your city, in your village or country that,
yeah, yeah.
people, kind of talk to you, letting you know that they're proud of you, they're seeing. So I think that's maybe one of those things that some people either lack of or do not have, which,
Yes.
I guess I'll always say us African are fortunate to have extended family almost everywhere we go. So it's good
Yes,
to hear that,
yes,
you have that, the good, the bad, ugly times. There's at least
yes.
someone that's will pick up the phone and, let the world
And
know
answer, yeah, and
where
help.
you are.
Yes.
So
Mhm,
it definitely shows a true testament of where you are. And like we said, yeah, yeah, you know him from all of these times when I told him I
mhm.
was going to talk to you. He's like, yeah, I know him. And there was nothing but good things. So he,
Yes,
he pretty much solidified everything you just mentioned.
yes.
So that's the good part.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and it looks like anything that you've been through during your growing up in Africa and Zimbabwe kind of help you, in the US and your experience. So just to close out this that chapter of you, winning two trophies, especially.
Yes.
So what is one thing that you would tell the kids that saw you lift the trophy, which is the good times, but
Hmm.
all of the work that you've had all season long? Is there one thing that you let them know that that's what kind of led you and your teammates to those trophies?
Um, I would say the biggest word is patience.
Okay.
Patience is very because you might work really hard for a certain time, for a very long time, and you may not see the results, anytime they don't come fast. Sometimes the results don't come any faster. So um the thing is you need to have
Mhm.
a goal too. And our team from the beginning of the semester, our goal was just, hey, let's win one game every one game at a time. And we don't have to set the bar too high, because you're going to be very disappointed, which is normal. You're going to be very disappointed if you set the bar too high and then you don't get to where you want to go.
Right.
But our main goal was, hey, let's stick together. Togetherness. The group has some good guys, good coaches that really um, emphasize on togetherness, unity, and to be honest, every team has its ups and downs, and we
Yep.
had that in preseason. Yeah, we played some teams. There were games that we lost, and we were like, man, what happened? You come out, you see the stat sheet, you had 20 shots on target, and the team that you played with had 3 shots on target, but they won the game.
Yep.
Those kind of moments. And yeah, patience was very key. We did. There was no doubt in our minds that we were gonna get far, but it was a collective effort. It was a group effort, and just belief. To be honest, you can be patient, but you can't really be that patient for a long time if you don't have belief.
Right.
And for me, that's what has been like, helped me. Like that's what helped me throughout my career is the belief. And because I'd been wanting to win something with it, because individual awards, I know they matter at the end of the day. It's you who won it, but I've always wanted something for the team, with the win with the team, which is a ring, a trophy, or anything. But I just didn't know when that was going to happen. And this year, man, I come here because I could have gone to some schools that are bigger than FDU. But when I look at it, some of those schools didn't win anything, and I'm here and I end up winning something. So either way, it was a good choice for me, and here I am. I finished my college career with a ring,
Yeah.
and it's patient and hard work. You work. What you do, even in the first year of college, at some point in your career, it'll add up to
Right.
wherever it's gonna have an impact wherever you are. Because if I was lazy and I didn't work hard since my freshman year, I don't think that I would be this far, and I'll be achieving what I've achieved so far. So every year I've had in college played a key role. in the end result. So me finishing with a trophy and winning, it's every player's dream. And I hope that one day in the pros, I can win something as well. So yeah.
All right, so that's a perfect segue now to closing out your college career. We won't
Uh-huh.
start any troubles with anything on the pro, but so what is next for Tinashe? Like where you're now
Uh,
setting your
mhm.
mind to?
So now I now want to go pro. Uh, so throughout my college years, I've been trying to develop a professional mindset, live like a pro, they say,
Right.
eat right, sleep right, like I told you, do the little things. So I've been working on those things for some time now, and I feel like I'm ready. And any team or anything, I'm gonna have some conversations, agents and coaches, and I'll see where what we end up finding. But for now, it's one goal at a time, and then my next goal, definitely pro. Because I've done everything to put myself in a position where I can say I'm ready. So I'm ready anytime.
Absolutely, absolutely. Any special shout out to anyone throughout, your days that you want to give a shout out to?
Man, that's a good one, man.
Well, we'll say just
First
a
of
few
all,
that
yeah,
comes in mind, so that way we won't get you in
yeah,
trouble with anyone.
yeah. Yeah, the first and foremost, my mom. Uh, she's the real MVP, man. She's the reason why I'm here because my mom, to be honest, she believed in me more than I believed in myself. There were moments when I was on the low, and she would tell me, "Hey, you can do this. I believe in you." And I've always needed that, throughout. And my mom has never said no to anything that I want to work on. If I say, "Mom, I wanna I wanna play soccer. This is what I want to do in life." My mom has never said no. She has always supported me, pretty much anything that I do. She just said, "Hey, my job is just for me to support you." And the struggles that I went through with her, coming from poverty, he comes from a poor area, and your mother being able to sacrifice, working really hard and to make sure that myself and my sister we had whatever we wanted. And that's a good thing that my parents always made sure that even in the hard times I had whatever I needed as a child. And it really, you know, set me up for good, And coming here in the U.S., I want to give a special shout out to Philip Nemera from World Athletes Recruits because he's the one that helped me throughout the process to get to the U.S. World Athletes Recruits. Man, I don't know if I was gonna be in the U.S. if I didn't know Philip. And yeah, special shout out to him. He made everything work. And special shout out to Matt Gow, my coach, who my first coach that believed in me. Some coaches don't believe what they see on a video, on a highlight video. And
It's
for
just
a
highlights.
coach, yeah, and for you to be that far, you in Africa, and a coach just watches your video and say, "I won this one." It's a it's a special thing, man. For him to just look at the video and say, "I won this kid," and he believed in me, and I never disappointed him. And special shout out to Smith family, because here I've had host families that have taken care of me during summers. Because when you're international students, sometimes you don't have a place to stay. You don't have you don't have food. You don't have you're just surviving basically. So the Smith family from Arizona, I'll say the Macias family in California, they gave me a place to stay. They motivated me, and still to this day, I'm very close with them. And I would say shout out to this Spru family. Those were my host family in Kansas City. And man, they gave me a home. I was supposed to live on campus at Mid America, but they say, "Hey, come into our house. live with us until you graduate, and they took good care of me. I'm very close with their family as well. And special shout out to my teammates. Uh, they're the reason why I've achieved certain things, everything that I've achieved in college, because it's not an individual thing. Each and every person has helped me in a certain way for me to be developed and get to this point where I'm at. And every coach that believed in me, that signed me, brought me for, gave me a scholarship, because it's hard to get a scholarship, man. It's
So
really
we,
hard.
especially for soccer,
It's
we've heard that.
for soccer. It's really hard to just for a coach to just say, "Hey, we're putting this money on you. You got this." And yeah, man. So and biggest shout out goes to my first coach, man. His name is Simon Mayakaka. He's one of my first coaches. He When I started playing club football, he's the first ever coach that gave me a position and say, "Hey, this is where you're gonna play." I started as a left back, so
Wow, you moved up.
yeah. So I still talk to him right now. He wishes and nothing but the best for me. And no mentor God, of course, my high school coach. He's the one that put me into praying, and he emphasized more on praying. We would fast before games as a team, pray for games, and yeah. So shout out to everyone, my friends, family. Um, they all played a part in who I am today. And shout out to the good, the bad times, because they actually helped me get to this point. Because if I didn't have the highs and lows, I wouldn't know what to do in certain situations. So yeah, man. So yeah, it's shout out to all those things.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and like we always say, it takes a village to produce a good person. So definitely
Yeah,
they've definitely have done their job right.
yeah, yeah.
All
I
right.
hope.
So, oh, no, they've done, and you definitely have done them proud as well. So, but
Yeah.
so for all of you, you've listened to Tinashe. He shared his journey from Zimbabwe all the way to American soccer and beyond. So make sure you like, subscribe to Mo Football, but also make sure you follow Tinashe through his journey next to the pros, and hopefully we get to see him kick the ball with some of those big names that we always talk
Ho-
about. But with that
Hopefully
said,
I can play. Hopefully I can play for Zimbabwe as well, because my
hey,
dream is to play for the national team. So hopefully they can call me one day. But I'm ready.
hey, if I see you in the AFCON, I was like, I knew when he was right out of college. That's
Yes, sir. Yeah.
excellent, everybody. Thank you all for joining. And with that said, we'll see you soon.
Thank you.